Double take. I can't believe it. It's already June 1st, 2015 on this Worldwide Monday edition. I'm your host, Alex Jones. We have several extremely informative guests joining us today. We're going to be looking at the aftermath of the amazing speech that Rand Paul gave yesterday. He's now become GOP enemy number one for actually being a constitutionalist. He's come out and said that his opponents, quote, secretly want terror attacks so they can blame it on me. That clip's coming up after the break. But first, here's a segment where he really laid it all out from C-SPAN yesterday.
Let us be very clear why we're here this evening. We are here this evening because this is an important debate. This is a debate over the Bill of Rights. This is a debate over the Fourth Amendment. This is a debate over your right to be left alone. Justice Brandeis said that the right to be left alone is the most cherished of rights. The right to be left alone is the most prized to civilized men. Let us be clear, we are here tonight because the president continues to conduct an illegal program.
Sensational.
The president has been rebuked by the court. The president has been told in no...
We're going to come back after the break and air a full 5-6 minute piece. Then we're going to air the clip of where Rand Paul, senator from Kentucky, talks about the fact that they hope there's a terror attack so he can be blamed. The fact that no other Republican has the guts to do what he's doing shows you really how controlled both political parties are. Where are the Democrats? Where are the Republicans? Well, they're being blackmailed because a bunch of them are criminals of different stripes. Probably the biggest contingent are pedophiles. And they're compromised. And here's Rand Paul with a wall of deceit across the media, including Republican right-wing establishment talking heads, saying that he doesn't want to keep us safe and wants terrorists to attack us. Really, it's our rogue government that openly armed al-Qaeda and ISIS in Syria, Libya, and other areas like Egypt. They're the ones that dissolved our borders. They're the ones using the Patriot Act and NSA against veterans, the Tea Party, libertarians, and conservatives. There's also this claim with Snowden now that we can finally all talk without being surveilled. There are several other Patriot Act-like laws that they've snuck through that basically, quote, authorize what's going on. But the body of it is illegal. And they were doing it before they'd ever passed these laws. So believe this, it's still going on. Headline on Drudge, free to chat without NSA tracking, at least for now. And it's good to say that because then the public starts thinking about it and thinking about how laws affect this. And yes, you can technically go with what they say. Yes, we've stopped now recording everything, including your phone conversations, not just the, quote, metadata, who you called and when. And boy, we're wide open to terror attack. But that itself is a lie. So we'll break it all down today. Video. Up on Infowars.com. Rand Paul declares big victory for privacy. China fearless to fight war with U.S., says their state media. Obama announces draconian unconstitutional gun regs by executive fiat. And a lot more coming up after this quick break. We'll look at the predicted housing crash that's coming. Stay with us. NSA bulk data collection is illegal. But President Obama knows that his constituents are dumber than a box of hammers, dumber than a bag of rocks, and so he can just sit up there and lie to everybody. Or say, oh my gosh, we're about to be hit by a terror attack because the Patriot Act elapsed last night at midnight, and Rand Paul, it's going to be his fault when terrorists attack us. When the federal government, working bipartisanly, has opened the southern border up basically wide open and pays to bring illegals in and allows radicals to come in and then start organizing at major mosques, calling for terror attacks across the United States. And our own government has been arming ISIS and al-Qaeda all over the Middle East to topple secular governments and destabilize the region. And even Judicial Watch last week got the defense intelligence documents from 2 years ago, where the Pentagon admitted its main directive was to arm al-Qaeda by name, along with al-Nusra by name, and the Salafist by name. You wonder why our military has been speaking out? And why you've seen the thousands of photos of officers covering their faces with signs saying, "I won't fight for al-Qaeda"? And why General Dempsey 2 years ago went on that Saturday night on the eve of an attack on Syria and told Obama the military is going to go mutinous. Well, it's not mutiny. We've got a rogue government that's illegitimate, engaging in public war crimes in our name. So anyone that gets up there and says that Rand Paul wants terror attacks to happen is a complete fraud. Rand Paul has said secure our border. By the way, people ask why I like Rand Paul the best of any of the candidates. It's not that I've known him for 20 years. I'm proud of the fact that I'm probably the first person to ever interview Rand Paul for political discussions. Back when his father was running in 1995, 96, I just gotten my radio show. I just had Ron Paul on. And I said, well, who else can come on? Because it's such a close race. Because back then his district came right up to South Austin. I was in his district at the time. And they said, gee, we don't know who you could have on. His campaign managers, you know, doing these interviews. And I said, well, who else is around? He goes, well, you could interview me. And I said, really, Rand? I didn't know. You didn't tell me you were his son. Yeah, no, I'm taking time off for my practice. I'm a doctor to help my dad. So I'm on the phone with Rand Paul. I said, well, yeah, you come on. That's a true story. And I just know he's for real. But separating all of that, he has separated himself from the pack by doing something that's bold. Stand up for the Constitution. Stand up for the Bill of Rights. Stand up for common sense. Call out the president and say what he's doing is illegal and treasonous on the Senate floor. And he's had the entire establishment come after him. Here are the headlines. Rand Paul, my opponents secretly want terror attack so they can blame it on me. Video, Rand Paul speaks out against the Patriot Act. I don't think the American people are going to take it anymore. That's the type of talk that saves countries. Getting people out of their trance, saying don't take it anymore. We're in a crisis. This is outrageous. They label all this tyranny real milquetoast. The Patriot Act just made Rand Paul GOP enemy #1. That's the headline. Meanwhile, zombie Patriot Act will keep U.S. spying, even if the original dies. That's right. We're going to break it down. And some will ask, well, if they're still doing it, then what's the point? Because then we force them to do it illegally, and then there'll be more whistleblowers, and then the whole thing will implode. And it's coming out they're using the NSA to spy on Congress. It's coming out that all of this is being done and being deployed against the American people. And it's forcing the Daily Beast, Newsweek magazine, to come out and admit that there are all these other illegal systems going on. Back when they thought we'd put up with anything, they had Admiral Poindexter, the head of the Total Information Awareness Network. That's the corporate private group with governmental power over 800,000 private contractors domestically, merging all the spy agency data, which then allows total infiltration by foreign governments and corporate espionage, giving 800,000 private contractors access to basically all of it. And then putting in place a system. We should get William Binney on sometime this week just to give us his take on all this, former technical director of the NSA. Then having computer systems in place so no one can tell who accesses the network. Designing it so that we're wide open and our security is destroyed. Through a panopticonic, omnipresent, Big Brother on steroids system. And then selling it as Americana and then calling the man who's speaking out against it a traitor. So they're doing two things. They're going, oh, don't worry, the spying is continuing to keep you safe. Rand Paul failed. No, he didn't fail. He showed leadership and stood up against this technological takeover that's happening. This technocracy. And it shows how far we've sunk into tyranny. That it's radical. That it's over the top. That it's shocking that a senator would get up and say, we can't have illegal, total spying recording everything the American people do in a free country. Everyone knows that's the antithesis of a free country. Everyone knows they admit they haven't stopped one terror attack with all this data. Because it's not even pointed at that. It's pointed at taking our freedoms, rigging markets, understanding globalist competition so they can shut it down. It's about cornering the global market in everything. They've built, in the last 7 years, 5 megacities. Huge, multi-100,000 square foot per building, some cases 8, 9, 10 buildings that are 100,000 square feet or more that are their own compact cities. Openly recording everything we do forever so they can data mine it and pull up an entire record of everything you've ever done whenever they want, and it's all illegal. And then they have the nerve to get up on television. It takes a lot to shock me. My mouth was hitting the floor last night during the Sunday 2-hour radio show we do every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. I went back in the break room, was getting a glass of water, and CNN was on. I think we even have the clip. And they had the host going along with the person they were interviewing, taking turns who could grovel to the Patriot Act and the NSA and Big Brother the most. And the host goes, all we're doing is following the Constitution. The Patriot Act is the Constitution, and Rand Paul's trying to destroy it. There is no spying. No one is being watched. None of it's true. It's a conspiracy theory, and now the terrorists are going to attack us. And then they cut to the guest, and they just basically agreed to everything they said. I mean, it was inverted reality, like when Senator Marco Rubio got up a few weeks ago and said, there is no NSA spying domestically, period. It does not exist. And you can keep your doctor if you like your doctor, and it'll cut your premiums, or it's going to be free. And, of course, they admit now in a big article in Politico yesterday that there's massive increases right now, huge, over-the-top increases across the board under Obamacare in premiums. On average, 50% a year. How's that for free? But see, they call it the Affordable Care Act, so it's okay. What do they call the new Patriot Act? A similarly sickening name. It'd be like throwing babies into wood chippers and the cops pull up and you go, I'm only engaging in take your child to work day. And I am a greenskeeper, a forester, and so I'm just running a wood chipper and I'm showing my child how work is, throwing a child into the wood chipper. I mean, this is the inversion of reality. Let's go ahead and go to Rand Paul talking about how they secretly want to blame terror attack on him. Here it is.
People here in town think I'm making a huge mistake. Some of them, I think, secretly want there to be an attack on the United States so they can blame it on me. One of the people in the media the other day came up to me and said, oh, well, when there's a great attack, are you going to feel guilty that you caused this great attack? And it's like, the people who attack us are responsible for attacks on us. Do we blame the police chief for the attack of the Boston bombers? The thing is that there can be attacks